Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to my world of stuff. My name's Paul Mount. Out and about today. It's Sunday. Very disappointingly, it's a bank holiday. We had a lovely day yesterday on Saturday. It was really nice, quite warm, quite mild. Today started off quite warm. It's now gone to the default overcast grey skies that we seem to get lately around here. Boo. So anyway, Sunday, I'm off to the cinema. Before that, going for a little bit of exercise, going for a swim in my local gym that I'm a member of. I hope to get back to doing some proper cardio and weight stuff during the summer, but at the moment it's just swimming, which is good exercise, I think, generally. Yeah, I'm off to the cinema after that to see The Fall Guy, so there'll be a review, well, after this bit. Hope you are enjoying the slightly new look to the videos, by the way. This is the first non-numbered video since the start of the channel, so I'm out there now amongst the crowd on YouTube with no numbers to distinguish me from everybody else. But as I said, I didn't really see a lot of point in continuing the numbering system and tampering with the thumbnail format. You may have noticed the recent Seinfeld Unfrosted video has a different thumbnail. I actually did a thumbnail, then swapped it, and I've been fiddling around with it. So I'm playing with the templates and the formats and things so that hopefully the videos will stand out a little bit more and attract some more random traffic, as it were. So bear with me as I fiddle about with the different formats and fonts and pictures and so on. It's quite good fun to play around with these things now I'm learning those particular skills. Welcome aboard some new subscribers. In fact, a handful of new subscribers have toddled along since my last video. One has left almost immediately. Of course, I don't know if it's the same person who left as joined, but you know, the numbers have gone up a little bit, so that's always nice to see and encouraging as we head into the summer season at the box office and exciting new treats on the TV. So yeah, if you're new here, why not like and subscribe? Join in the fun, because there's fun now and again. I'll see you after this for The Fall Guy. And I'm back in the cinema room. The Fall Guy, then. This is based on the American TV series that ran between 1991 and 1996. This, of course, is the reboot, the reimagining, the film that we've all been waiting for years, haven't we? Or maybe not. But never mind, Hollywood's never one to shy away from exhuming long-forgotten franchises, and The Fall Guy is the latest one. The story of The Fall Guy from the TV series, which starred Lee Majors, was about Colt Seavers. He was a stuntman, a fall guy. And although I never saw the series, I've never seen a single episode of it, I imagine it chronicled his adventures, getting involved in all sorts of scrapes and bringing bad guys to justice, with the odd stunt thrown in for good measure. This film reimagines that character. Colt Seavers is now played by Ryan Gosling. Duck! Oh, sorry, Ryan Gosling. And the film starts with him as a stunt double for an actor called Tom Ryder. He's a big Hollywood superstar. I suppose you can think vaguely of the Tom Cruise type, an action hero. But of course, Tom Cruise does all his own stunts, so maybe you can't think of Tom Cruise. He's played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's a bit of a swaggering sort of superstar. And Ryan Gosling, duck! Sorry, I won't do that all the way through the video. He's his stuntman, and he's involved with an up-and-coming camera woman played by Emily Blunt, Jodie Marina. And they're in a bit of a relationship, and things are going very well. They're all very lovey-dovey. Then there's an accident, and he's injured quite badly doing a stunt. He disappears from the scene for 18 months. He has to get little jobs as a car valeter until he feels well enough to go back to stunt work, and he's reluctantly called in to work on a new film called Metal Storm, which is a big science fiction spectacular. His relationship with Jodie has fallen apart. He, for some reason, didn't contact her after the accident, and they are estranged, shall we say. He's then called in by Hannah Waddingham, who plays Gail Mayer. She's a big Hollywood hotshot producer. Hannah Waddingham's excellent in this. She's always excellent, but she's really having fun in this part, playing this part. She calls Colt in to be a stuntman on this new film, which is now being directed by Jodie Marina. It's a big Hollywood debut as a director, and of course, in the way of all Hollywood films, she has progressed from being a secondary camera woman into helming a big multi-million-dollar, big-budget science fiction spectacular. That's sort of the level of the reality of the film, I suppose, in that it's dealing with Hollywood excesses to excess. And that's the sort of the backdrop to the film. It is a behind-the-scenes film about the making of Hollywood. There's lots of Hollywood in-jokes, little references to the sorts of things that happen on set. The story itself is a thing of simplicity in a way. Tom Ryder disappears. Gail asks Colt to try and find out where he is. This leads into an involvement in a cover-up, basically. I won't go too much into the plot, but Tom has been a bad boy. Colt is being sort of slightly set up for it. And it all ends up with a big sort of double cross and double bluff in the end with lots of action sequences. It's a fun film. It's a good fun film. 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 5 minutes, I think. It's a bit slow to start. I think it sort of drags its heels a bit. It sets itself up a little bit. And there's not a lot of pace in the first half an hour. You're getting the scenario, you get the relationships. I mean, it's not exactly difficult stuff to grasp, but they take their time getting there in the relationships between Colt and Jodie and what happens and what tears them apart and what sort of brings them back together. There's an obvious chemistry between these two characters as well as these two actors, because even though they're estranged and she's got a grudge against him for dropping out of her life with no apparent reason, they still have an attraction and they sort of drift back into their relationship again. The strengths of the film, as have been noticed in many reviews already, is the incredible chemistry between Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. I mean, they spark off each other so well. They really trade the dialogue back and forth, back and forth. The dialogue's very zippy, it's very snappy, which is one of the downfalls, I think, for me. Certainly in the first 45 minutes of the film, the dialogue was getting on my nerves because it was there was no meat to it. It was very much glib and very quippy and very lightweight. Because at its heart, it's a fairly lightweight film. But the chemistry is fantastic because the chemistry carries this film. Any other two actors in this film, I don't think it would have worked, because you wouldn't get this sort of chemistry from many other pairings in Hollywood. But they really are having a good time together. Of course, Gosling... No, I'm not going to do it. Gosling is still hot from Barbie. This is in a different league as a film. It's clearly not going to be a Barbie-sized hit. But I think, not having seen Barbie, he brings a lot of that sort of Barbie-ness with him. I think that Barbie charm, I imagine. And I think that he's got a lot of that in the tank now, a lot of goodwill from that. And he's a good actor. I remember years ago, Ryan Gosling was he seemed a bit intense. But he seems to have lightened up a little bit, and he's now making more fun films. I think he's enjoying himself a bit more. I remember when things like Drive came out a few years ago. He seemed very dour and very sort of actor. But now he's lightening up, and I think he's embracing the Hollywood side of himself. As I said, the story is quite simplistic in its own way, but the two things that make it work are the chemistry between these two and the incredible stunts. The stunts in the last hour of the film are fantastic because they're real. They're real stunts. Because this film is, again, as has been observed, so I'm not making an original observation. I rarely do that. This is a film that is a love letter to Hollywood and Hollywood stunts, classic Hollywood stunts, practical effects. I'm sure there's a bit of CGI here and there, but this is all practical. Practical fights, practical stunts, leaping off buildings, hanging off things, explosions. It's all there in front of you on the screen. And the film makes good use of its locations. I mean, it's set in Sydney. There's a fantastic boat scene, which is in the shadow of the Opera House. And it really makes use of that landscape, the landscape outside Sydney, the sort of the desert areas where they're making the film, and then into Sydney itself. It really shows off where it's set. But the scenes, the action is all practical, the practical fights. There's a scene that you'll see in the trailer of Ryan Gosling having a fight in this sort of dumpster truck. There's lots of that sort of stuff, which is very old school Hollywood. And it's very nice to see that. It's very nice to see a film that has action scenes and visual stuff that isn't all filmed in front of this volume environment generating thing that they use these days. It all feels very real. It all feels very hands-on. And that is very, very refreshing. The film sort of flies by. As I said, once it kicks off, after about 40 minutes or so, it really picks up momentum and really gets gets going. I can't say it's the most fascinating story I've ever seen in a film. It's very basic and very box standard, but everybody's having a great time. You can tell they're having a fantastic time. Hannah Waddingham is great as Gail. She brings a real sort of grittiness to this part of this slightly ruthless agent producer that she's playing. There are cameos. I won't spoil the cameos here, but there are little guest appearances here and there, particularly the post-credit sequence. Stay around for the mid-post-credit sequence, which is really very nice, very funny. So all in all, I had a good time with this. I enjoyed this. It was good fun. Again, it's not a film that's going to be in my top 10 list of the year. Again, it's a film, when I come to Christmas, I'll look back at the films I've watched and go, oh yeah, I saw The Fall Guy as well. That was good fun. And it's probably one I'll pick up on physical media because it will look great on 4K or Blu-ray, I imagine. Not a great deal else to say about it, really, because it is what it is. It's an unpretentious action film in the old style, in the old school, made the old school way. That's very refreshing. It's directed by David Leitch, who of course has done things like Atomic Blonde, Hobbs and Shaw, and Bullet Train, which I enjoyed a couple of years ago. And he brings that energy and that pace to this as well. I think the problem is the script, Drew Pearce. I think it's his first solo script. Whilst there are some good lines of dialogue in here, there's some good quips and things, the dialogue seems a bit underdeveloped in places. But then again, perhaps it's reflecting the way people actually talk, and that people don't talk in fully constructed sentences all the time. They do talk in bits and pieces, and I think that sort of works quite well. But I think if you're used to, more elaborate dialogue, then this, it seems a bit odd at first. But certainly, it's a film that gets going after about the 40-minute mark, and I think once you rattle through the first 40 minutes, you will enjoy this film. It's The Fall Guy. It's based on the hit TV series. And it's in cinemas now, and it's very much recommended if you want a bit of popcorn fun. It's the first, I think Hollywood's regarding it as the first film of the summer season. Now, there is apparently summer, looking out the window, I'm not so sure. And I think it's a decent start. I don't think it's going to be a big, massive mega hit, but I think it will do okay. I think it's one of those films that, I think it's opened fairly well in America. I think worldwide it's taken about 65 million already, which is effectively half its budget. And it will probably need to double its budget to make a profit, and I think it will probably do that. It's one of those films that is not a must-see first weekend film. I think it's one of those films that over the weeks when it's in cinemas, people think, oh yeah, I haven't seen The Fall Guy yet, I'll pop and see that. Or if it's a quiet week, they might think, oh, I'll catch up with that. It's worth seeing, and I recommend it, and I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10 for The Fall Guy in your theatres now. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed making it, which is loads. Why not like and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of stuff, because there's plenty coming. Oh yeah, believe me. So like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, subscribe there. I'll see you soon. Until I do, keep taking the stuff.